Hey guys, AscendantGod here with Raid Shadow Legends. Going to be doing a couple stage 20 runs on Dragon here, and going to be doing a comparison here to Tayrel versus Tomb Lord. Okay, so the rest of the group, now just keep in mind, this is not really a fair comparison to all groups, because, well, number one, Tomb Lord doesn't have his Ascensions maxed out yet. You'll find out in a minute why, because I've been testing him. I knew what Tayrel was like before I maxed him. I knew what War Maiden was like. Tomb Lord just doesn't cut it for me, and I hate to say that because Tomb Lord is the very first legendary I ever got. I want to like him. I really, really do, because he seems like he should be really cool. There's a few problems with him, though, and that's a part of the reason why I'm making this video is, number one, to test it out for myself, to see if there might be a sliver of hope here for him, and number two, to kind of prove my point that I've had in the forums going on, where he really isn't that great as far as the legendary. Tomb Lord's decent, don't get me wrong. If you don't have Tayrel, Tomb Lord is really good, because Tyrell's just amazing. But for me, Tomb Lord just isn't particularly amazing. As you can see, I do have quite a bit of legendaries here. I even have legendaries just sitting in my vault collecting dust. I just, Inithway here, Turvold, I just got this Black Knight recently, although he kind of seems like a trash legendary, but hang on to him, you never know what's going to happen down the road. So, alright, here's going to be the roster. So we're looking at, number one, Dracomorph here. Dracomorph's an amazing champion. He has a weaken, he has a decreased defense, he has poisons, he has a damage that increases by the number of debuffs on the target, and it'll attack a random enemy with any surplus damage if the target's killed. So if you kill an enemy with his A1, it's going to actually pour over onto other champions. So as you can see, his gear isn't maxed yet, but this account is still a work in progress. Very long story, I'll get into it in a minute, but just the main thing that we're doing here is just really comparing the two champions. So Nethril next. Nethrill's an amazing champion. He has a turn meter reduction here. He has a stun. He has poisons. So he has a lot of great abilities too. And of course, all these champions are maxed out on their masteries. And then Martyr next. Martyr is an amazing champion that I just got a few days ago, so regretfully I'm still working on her skills. Her skills aren't maxed yet. Fortunately, her counter is, so that is the most important one to get. So anyway, but she has this counterattack, the increased defense. In my opinion, she is the most amazing counterattack champion in the game. She really is, because not only does she have counterattack, she has this, which is amazing in dungeons. A decreased attack debuff for 2 turns on all enemies, and a provoke debuff for 1 turn. This is just absolutely amazing that she does here. And then her A1, which attacks all enemies, 45% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Alright, so one of the things that I'm not sure about that might, impact how well Tomb Lord's going to work with this group is because of the fact that she has that attack down. But now, the thing is to keep in mind here, though, with her attack down, is that it is a 6-turn cooldown. So I'm hoping that the AI in the game on auto will work the way that it should, where if there is already a decreased attack on the enemies, that Tomb Lord or her is not going to cast it again depending on who goes first here, which I'm thinking probably Martyr will, because he's with the crit gear for a reason why you'll see in a second. But anyway, so that may impact how feasible he is in this run. So anyway, but we got these three, then we got next Steel Skull, or as my clan calls him, Poison Pig. He's a beautiful champion. He's increased defense, heals all allies, has a remove all debuffs, heals them by 40%, and an attack 1 enemy 2 times, 10% chance of placing a 5% poison. So he's overall really useful. He does poisons, he heals, he removes debuffs, things like that. So he's another really good champion, especially for the clan boss. And then Tayrel is one of the 2 we're going to be comparing here. So Tayrel, he has an A3 that's a turn meter reduction, knocks the turn meter down by 50%. If it fully depletes the turn meter, puts a stun on that champion, which is really nice, particularly useful in arena too. A2, which decreases defense, AoE attack, so it decreases everybody's. And then the last but certainly not least, he has an A1 that decreases attack on a single target. Alright, now You can see with him, he's basically a defense down, attack down champion. He has an AoE decreased defense, but he only has a single target decrease attack. He also does have this where it can potentially stun, and it hits extremely hard because he is a defense champion, so all of his attacks, as you can see here, are based on defense, which lets you load him up with a ton of defense, as you can see here, another 1500 on top of his base. All right, now with Tomb Lord, different story. With him, you need crit rate. I'll show you why in a second. Okay, first thing, A3 Blight decreases attack, decreases defense, gives him an extra turn if a turn meter's reset, which means if the turn meter of the enemy is less than 50% hit points. Alright, that's a part of why they didn't fix him for Arena, which makes no sense because his aura is supposed to increase ally defense in Arena by 42%. So you would think he was originally intended for Arena, yet they finally modified this in 1.10, but not in a way that makes sense for Arena, because in Arena you'd want him going first before all your other champions to not just decrease the attack, but to decrease the enemy's defense so that all of your other champions, when they go after Tomb Lord, will hit the enemy harder. But yet, meanwhile, this only resets it if it's less than 50% hit points. And even with this cooldown reduction, if I put tombs into him, the lowest you can get it is 5 turns. How often does an arena battle last 5 turns? So the chances is you're only going to get to use this once. More likely than not, it's going to be the first turn of yours. And if you don't get first turn and the enemy does, you're most likely going to lose. And if they do, then you're already going to be at a disadvantage anyway. And so more likely than not, when you do his A3, none of the enemies are going to be less than 50% hit points. So they never fixed this. They made it better for dungeons, but the thing that makes no sense, his aura is for the arena, yet they fixed this to be better in dungeons than what it used to be, but not for arena. So I don't understand. I've compared him and Tayrel in arena in a group before. Tayrel does so much better in Arena. If you want to see why, go ahead and check out that video. Now, one disadvantage that I am going to give Tomb Lord a bit of a handicap here is, again, I haven't done his full Ascensions yet, simply because of the fact that he just doesn't seem good enough. I don't want to put it into him because I've compared him also to War Maiden, and even War Maiden that was not maxed and only at 50, and yet she was just as good as him in Arena in the past. So I just don't see any reason putting investment into him when I already have Tayrel that I feel is much better for a defense and attack down champion, which is the same thing Tomb Lord does, but whereas Tayrel offers a stun, Tomb Lord offers poisons. That's really the biggest difference between the two of them, but other than that, Tayrel just does the job better, just because he brings attack along with decreased defense, whereas Tomb Lord, his A3, the problem is it does no damage. But anyway, my point here that I was saying is that this isn't ascended yet, so it has a 70% chance of placing 5% poisons. Normally it'd be, if the attack's critical, it has a 70% chance of placing 4 poisons. But it's not going to make a huge difference here. It's because it only lasts for 1 turn. They did have this lasting 2 turns, and then right after they buffed him, like a couple days later, they nerfed him again, and they made this go from 2 turns down to 1 turn. I don't know any other champion that only has a 1-turn poison. It's ridiculous. So this ability isn't even that great anyway. It's basically 20% of the enemy's hit points, which on the dragon at the end, sure, that would be great, but on the other champions that I'm fighting, a 20% poison for 1 turn, that's not that particularly amazing anyway, and it's only a 70% chance. Once I max him out, sure, then he could get better, because then it would be a 100% chance here, unless they resist it. But for now, he does have that handicap, so I will take that into consideration here, and hopefully you will as well. Last thing here, A1, attacks 1 enemy 3 times, 30% decreased speed debuff on the target for 2 turns if this attack is critical. This is what I was telling you about earlier, of where I have him at 100% crit rate, because this is dependent on crit to decrease the speed, and 30%, that's significant. We want that. Alright, and then this here, where again, if it was ascended, it would place 4 or 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for a turn. And I might try that eventually, just to give him a shot here, because I do have the gear on him for over 100% crit rate here, as you can see. So he's ready for his ascension. But again, I just haven't been able to justify investing into him, and we'll see why in just a bit here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with this group here, because I know this group makes it through. Now, Unfortunately, since this account is relatively new, and like I said, I'm still working on my Champions gear, I haven't been a whale, so I haven't invested a ton of energy and buying a ton of tombs and things like that. I've invested some recently, just because I've gotten such good champions in the game that I figured, well, I might as well invest into this game because I play it a lot, and I have some really good champions. I want to max out some of my legendaries, so let me buy some tombs, let me buy some energy. So it hasn't been until the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks that I really started actually investing into it and getting hardcore with this game. Prior to that, I was just a casual free-to-play player, hence why my gear isn't maxed out and why it does take a while for me to get through stage 20. I didn't even start farming stage 20 until earlier today. I didn't realize that I could. I didn't know that my champions were good enough. But on Dragon, after I got Martyr, which I got just I think 3 days ago now, and once I maxed her out, I knew she's an amazing champion for dungeons, clan boss, and I mean really in everything in the game. She's amazing in every aspect. So anyway, so I figured since I had her, I might as well go ahead and see how far I can push Dragon. And I just kept going one after another into the stages until I was finally to 20, and I was winning it. And I'm like, well, hey, great. It does take a little while, but this is one of those things where I put it on auto, walk away from the game, forget about it, check it every once in a while, and just see when I need to restart it. So it doesn't farm particularly fast, but I'm still getting that gear, and in time, it's only going to get quicker as I max out their gear. The one disadvantage that I do have here is this is literally the same exact group that I have for Clan Boss, because this group is amazing for Clan Boss, but they're amazing champions overall. Now, in this here, they just work really, really well. Of course, in Spider, that's not the case. My Spider group is one that I'm still working on, because with Spider Dungeon, that is one of the ones where you need a ton of AoE, and then champions that do damage based on max hit points like Cold Heart and Royal Guard are great, and fortunately I do have one of each of them. I really wish I had more Cold Hearts. Heck, at this point I'd even take more Royal Guards, but haven't maxed them out because, like I said, I haven't gotten hardcore until the past couple of weeks. My main priority was upping my damage on the Clan Boss, because for those of you who don't know, like when you get up to Nightmare and you're topping off on the best Nightmare chest, the rewards are really good. So it's the best rewards that you can get on a daily basis in the game. I mean, yes, Arena's nice too, because you get rewards from Arena, you get the stat bonuses, but the thing is you get more rewards from Clan Boss, which has been my priority. Second priority had been Arena, and then, you know, third priority had been really... Oh, lost him. Okay. Third priority had been upping my damage in the dungeons. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, I do know that occasionally in this round, I do end up losing Poison Pig. It happens sometimes. I don't know why. Poison Pig has just as much defense as everybody else. I think it's probably the affinity. I haven't even really paid attention, because like I said, I put this on auto, and then I walk away from it and forget about it. So I don't really pay attention to what's going on most of the time, but it is extremely rare that I ever actually lose, so that's one thing that I really don't have to worry about. I would say out of every maybe... oh, this is not good. Alright, I would say maybe once out of every... I don't know, maybe one in every 15 fights I actually lose it. So, should be fine here. I've seen this group go on to Dragon with only 4 champions a good handful of times. Like I said it on auto, so I don't really pay much attention to what's going on. But I have seen it happen before where Poison Pig dies, they get through the end no problem. I have not paid attention to the point where I've seen if they've gone into the Dragon with 3 champions here, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but they all do have lifesteal on them, which is good. That's going to be another disadvantage with Tomb Lord, is I do have Tomb Lord geared for dungeons. I don't have him geared with the... Alright, here we go on the Dragon. So I don't have him geared with lifesteal because I have him dependent on a healer in dungeons, so he really needs, you know, Steel Skull there in order to, you know, be viable, because otherwise he's going to lose his hit points and it's going to get taken out. So, alright, here we go. Let's see if they get hit. They might get hit here by this because, yeah, they're not going to do enough damage, but... Oh, and it stunned all of them too. That's not good. Alright, let's see here. Okay, good. They have enough speed, so they got to top off again. Good. Okay, so that's one of the great things is all these champions fortunately have War Master and Giant Slayer with the lifesteal, so when they do get hit, then they counterattack like this, or they're just doing their damage in general. When the War Master or Giant Slayer happens, they do get a substantial amount of life back too. So even though I don't have a healer right now, they're at least healing themselves, which is good. Wow, Tayrel. See, I love Tayrel. Look at Tayrel just topped himself off with the damage he did. Great. Alright, here we go. Swipe good. She still has counters. Hopefully she's gonna... Oh, jeez, her hit points are not looking good there. That's not good. I don't like that. But, alright, well, we're halfway through, almost about halfway through the dragon. Hopefully should be okay here. I'm almost tempted to manual it, but I think they should be fine. I mean, there's not really a whole lot that I would change in the order here, other than what they're going to do. They should all have their counterattack for when the dragon hits them, so they should be able to strike. Ooh, she just... Great. She just topped herself off. Okay, so we should be fine here. Alright, great. Then, alright, good defense down. They should all get turns, yes, before the dragon. Good. That's the advantage of having a lot of speed. That's why in this game, more than anything else, speed is so valuable, because it's almost all about speed. It really is. Because with speed, when you attack quicker like that, it just... You have the upper hand. The enemy's doing, just a couple attacks on you. You're doing... Oh, great. I was worried about Nethril there. I thought he was about to go down. Great. God, I almost feel like this has just been luck on this last one more than anything. But this is not how it normally goes. In most cases, again, I don't tend to pay much attention because the whole point of being able to do auto is not having to pay attention when you're farming. But in the times that I've seen it, I would say maybe about a quarter of the time they would get to the last boss with Steel Skull being taken down. So... And when he went down, I wasn't too worried. When I saw Draco go down as well, then I was kind of worried, because Draco is really a heavy hitter on the big bosses like that because of the fact that he has the weaken, the defense down, and the poisons that rip through them. But anyway, alright. Ooh, and look at this. I got a 6-star speed chest. That's beautiful. That's one of the great things about Stage 20 and why you want to farm it, is because you get a minimum of 5 stars or 6 stars here. But, yeah, hit points 10%. Defense 6% though. I might actually keep this. I'm not a huge fan. I prefer defense over hit points, but there is a soft cap for defense. Tayrel is way over it. The only reason I still push his defense is just because of the fact that his attack is also based off of it, which means he hits harder. His A3 hits ridiculously hard. It's astounding for a defense champion how hard he hits. So I'm going to hang on to this, actually. This is a decent piece. So especially for only 21,000, I would think that it would sell for more than that. Alright, so... Saw that run. They kind of made through it on like one leg and one arm, but they still made it through it. So anyway, now we're going to go ahead and toss Tomb Lord in here. Now, I wish he had an aura that worked in all battles. I really don't understand still. I'm going to go ahead and start this. I don't understand why it is that he has an aura that is for just Arena, yet at the same time, he is not that great for Arena. I mean, he's okay for Arena because he does bring an attack down and defense down. The thing is that Tayrel is better. A lot of people aren't going to have Tayrel, so I'll give them that. But then, see, this auto is not doing things right. But anyway, like I was saying, even if you don't have Tayrel, War Maiden, which can be farmed for, is actually better than him as well. Simply because of the fact that with his attack down and defense down, it does not do any damage. Whereas with War Maiden or Tayrel, they only do defense down, but they bring damage along with it, which is just so much better. And again, I've compared it. I have tried to give Tomb Lord a chance in Arena. He's not nearly as good as Tayrel. I even compared him in the past to War Maiden, but I don't have a video on that. That's something that I had tried a while back, and then I used War Maiden as food. But then there was a lot of people trying to argue with me that Tomb Lord is great, and so then I felt a need to make a video with Arena with him just to kind of prove my point that even after this buff and then very shortly after nerf, like I said, he still isn't that spectacular. But this is not going to really be a fair portrayal of Tomb Lord, because like I said, he doesn't have that third level ascension yet. He doesn't have his max ascension. Ascensions don't give a huge stat bonus, but it makes a little bit of a difference, and particularly the fact that, like I said, he doesn't have that extra the poisons, the 2 extra poisons. That's really just what he's missing more than anything, but it's only for 1 turn, so I mean, it's an extra 10%. That's it. It's not huge. In these kind of encounters where it is really hard to take the enemy down, sure, it's a decent amount, it's a modest amount. So like I said, I am giving this team a little bit of a handicap because of that, but he still has his slow that he brings from his A1, and his A3 isn't impacted by that either. It's still he still gets the same things with his A3. The problem here that, like I was looking at earlier in this auto battle, is the lack of decent AI in this game is horrible. That's why, like, running on auto is so risky, and your team has to be so overpowered compared to what you could do manually if you were running it intelligently. Because right now, the Martyr here, like I said, with her provoke, it does a 50% decrease attack on all enemies, which is great. Tomb Lord's A3 also does a 50% decrease attack. They're both casting that same thing in the same turns, so it's overlapping. And maybe it's because Tomb Lord's also brings decreased defense and hers doesn't have a decreased defense, so maybe that's why. Oh, and he did not have much luck with that. Like, he did not do many defense downs. That's not good. So, and that's weird. He actually has a lot of accuracy, but it happens. Alright, so far they're going pretty good, but this is the group that can take me out. Oh, and that was a hard hit right there. He just used his strong heal, and that was even with the armor on them. So that's one of the great things with Martyr and Steel Skull, is that they both offer an increased defense. So it really gives my allies a lot of protection. Oh, Tomb Lord just took a harsh hit there too. This is not good. I'm thinking Tomb Lord is going to go down in this. I can almost guarantee it, just because of the fact that he doesn't have that lifesteal gear. And that's one of the issues, though, with him, is with the way that he needs to be geared with 100% crit rate. That means, yep, he's gone. That means less hit points. It means less defense, because you have to prioritize crit rate, and getting up to 100% crit rate is not easy. I mean, even with decent gear, you still have to prioritize getting crit rate over a lot of other stats, which means that he's not going to be as tough and endurant or hit as hard as your other champions. I mean, yes, you can load him up with some crit damage too along with the crit rate, but you're not going to be able to give him much attack. You can't even look for attack percentage or crit damage percentage, because you need to prioritize crit rate. So you could have a crit rate of over 100%, but then only an additional crit damage of, say, 20%. It's meh at best. So, anyway, so far we look like we're going pretty strong here. And it looks like they should come out of this with actually all 4 of these. So, in a way, even though Tomb Lord even died, it looks like we're doing better on this round with Tomb Lord so far than we were doing with Tayrel. But a lot of that is RNG too. But this actually makes me, think twice about Tomb Lord. Maybe Tomb Lord is okay. Maybe I can run with him. The problem is that with it's my team composition. The thing is that with Martyr, she does have that AoE decrease attack along with a provoke, so I'm already getting a decrease attack, but albeit it has a long cooldown, so there is a long period of time where I'm missing it. And unfortunately with Tayrel, his attack down is only on his A1, so it's a single target. So he only decreases attack on one champion, and that's assuming that it does proc, which proc means trigger, and for those of you who don't know what proc means. But anyway, so yes, so far we actually went into this with more champions than we did the last time, so this is actually looking pretty good. So again, maybe Tomb Lord isn't as bad as I thought. Now, the thing is that, again, this is hard to tell by just one encounter with each champion, because, again, typically from what I've seen, there's only maybe 1 in 4 times at most that I would go into this final dragon encounter with 4 champions out of 5. With 3 out of 5, that was the first time that I ever saw that, And so I was actually expecting to lose. I thought that was the battles that are like, say, 1 in 20 or so that I do lose, because it is on auto, and like I said, I still need to cap off some of my champion's gear, as you can see, so I don't always win it. There is sometimes that I'm still losing, but, you know, to lose 1 out of 20 to be able to do auto, I would much rather do that than be taking the time to manually do it or do auto on a lower level where the gear rewards are going to be, say, 4 to 6 stars instead of on this stage 20 where it's 5 to 6, which is you're guaranteed to get better gear. And you guys know how that works and how often you can get up getting 4-star gear, so it's great to eliminate that high probability that you're going to get it. Because even on like stage like 17 and 18, when I was farming those, I was still getting 4-star gear a lot. So it's like, it's not until you get to stage 20 where you stop getting a ton of that type of gear. Oh, and I love Draco. He just did that weakness and the defense down, which increases everybody's damage. Dracomorph is just a beautiful champion. I love him. I got him just before I got Martyr. It was amazing luck. I've just had really, really good luck on this account. All right, so victory. We did good. So looked like Tomb Lord came through on this. So I'm kind of surprised. I might actually invest into him. All right, this I'm never going to use. The 30% from enemy AoE attacks, I could never use this. I don't know anybody who would. And for 61,000, the stats on this aren't good enough for me to... I mean, yes, there's accuracy, but there's only accuracy. There's not speed, so I'm going to get that 61,000 coins because that sounds delicious. So, alright, so that's all I got for now, guys. I might do this again. You know, I might do, say, a round 2 or a rematch down the road. Because, again, just doing one single battle where we compare the two isn't a fair comparison. Because, again, that was some really bad RNG with the Tayrel round where he didn't get the opportunity to really shine because other champions died. And again, it's not something that typically happens. But anyway, the thing that I like about Tayrel over Tomb Lord here is, number one, like I said, she already has a decreased attack, so I do get that from time to time. And with how much I manipulate turn meters and how many fast I get turns, yes, Martyr's cooldown on it is really high right now, particularly until I can reduce the cooldown with tombs. But at the same time, it's up on the enemy quite a bit, as you could see in those rounds. Tomb Lord does bring extra decreased attack to the table, though, but again, his has a really long cooldown as well. So, alright, let's go to the champions just to take a look. And I might invest into him. I still need to cap off Martyr. I'm probably going to cap off Razin Scarhide, or Reason Scarhide, whatever his name is, for Clan Boss. But for now, I gotta cap her off. I might consider capping off Tomb Lord next and then doing Razin after that, but I'm not sure because I have a great Clan Boss team already. But anyway, so what I was going to say as far as Tomb Lord, you can see even with the max reduction, it's still a 5-turn cooldown for this, which means that unless you have a lot of speed on him the majority of the time, this is not going to be up. Like, I would say probably at least half the time it won't be up. But with Martyrs, you have the same problem where it's the most you can reduce it down to is 4 turns. So hers is better than Tomb Lord's, and which again, they're both legendaries, and she brings a provoke to the table with her decreased attack. She brings a counter and an increased defense. She has this that decreases defense on a single target. I mean, but she's an amazing, amazing legendary, so it's hard to compare her to anybody, because I can compare her to anybody and she's going to look better. So anyway, other than maybe Roshkar to the tower, but anyway, but with him, I mean, I just don't feel like his skills are as good here. But, because again, his is 5 turns, whereas again, hers could go down to 4. And then his poisons, they're only 1 turn. It's frustrating they reduced that to 1 turn, and they did it because he was God broken on Spider, but it was because of his A3, where you get an extra turn if a turn meter is reset by the skill. So what would happen is he would go into Spider, the enemies would be, you know, like say 7 or 8 different spiders would be less than 50% hit points. He would cast this, and it would give him 7 or 8 extra turns. So then, of course, he'd come at people with poisons, top it off with poisons, attack the boss a bunch of times with this to make sure that they get the decreased speed debuff, and it was ridiculously godlike. But all that they needed to do was just nerf this the way that they did, to where Blight only gets 1 extra turn if it does, you know, decrease reset turn meters there. So that's all that needed to be changed. They didn't need to reduce this from 2 down to 1 turn. He was almost decent for Clan Boss because of that, because he brought the attack down, decreased defense down, and he brought poisons. But of course the decreased speed doesn't do anything on the Clan Boss. But this is a 3-time hit, which means that, depending on the cooldown on this, I'm thinking 3. He'd probably still be a War Master. Possibly Giant Slayer on him, though. There's a possibility you could put Giant Slayer on him. It probably would increase his damage over War Master between the two of these you'd be casting. But he was decent for Clan Boss for a while. A lot of people were getting excited about that. They figured he's a better champion for Clan Boss than what they had. And then, nope, he got nerfed like 2 or 3 days later. It was really frustrating. But anyway, so yes, you saw a comparison. Like I said, Tomb Lord did okay. He held his own all right. You know, he pulled through when, you know, Tayrel lost more champions in the process. Both of them did pull through, at least, so that's good. But anyway, again, I think I'll do a rematch eventually one day because, like I said, I don't feel like that match with the Tayrel there was really a fair comparison because normally he doesn't die. But anyway, that's about all that I got for now here, guys. So, again, that was Tayrel versus Tomb Lord. Looks like they both, actually, Tomb Lord came out a little bit on top on that one there. He did better than Tayrel did as far as the team. Now, again, how much of that was RNG? It's hard to say. That's why, again, we're going to do a rematch one of these days. Maybe I'll try to do one tomorrow or the next day as soon as I have time, and we'll see how the rematch pans out. So, anyway, but that's all that I got for now, guys, and stay tuned for the next episode, and until then, take care.
Hi guys, this is Anthony here, also known on this channel as AscendantGod. I wanted to thank you for checking out my channel here, really appreciate it. Be sure to check out the other videos, I got plenty of goodies on here. Also check out the description sections in the videos, got plenty of links on there for all different kinds of goodies that I think would be worthwhile for you guys. If there is something in particular that you don't see on my channel that you want to see, be sure to let me know in the comment section as well. And I think that's about it. All I've got. I'm just gonna get back to this thing here. I'm pretty sure if I just... Oh,
we have such sights to show you.
Wow. That's really funny. Same here.